Hi, honor students. Dean Corvino here with our weekly video message, and I am joined today by Angela Zanardelli-Sickler from the Study Skills Academy. Welcome, Angela.
Hi, thank you so much for having me, Dean Corvino.
So, a lot of our honor students don't think about the Study Skills Academy. I think they sometimes think that, oh, that's, remedial stuff, as opposed to as a place for them to develop peak performance skills. Can you tell us a little bit about what the Study Skills Academy at Wayne State does?
Absolutely. So we have several different services, but the basis of our services, we provide a really holistic approach for students who are seeking to create a customized study plan. And what I mean by holistic is that our job as specialists is to kind of translate the research on the science of learning into applicable study strategies for college level students. So essentially, students oftentimes bring in study habits from high school that aren't very fruitful when they apply them to fast pace or larger lecture classes. And we're able to work with students both in groups or one-to-one on study strategies based on their specific needs. So we have one-to-one services. You can work with a specialist to design a customized study plan. We have procrastination accountability groups because, let's be honest, we're all humans and we procrastinate. And having the accountability can be really helpful. And also hearing that other students are in the same boat can also be helpful. We offer Succeeding in the Sciences courses, sessions, and we also offer group workshops.
That's great. And this is very timely because you're going to be joining me on Thursday. That's this Thursday, the 19th at 6 p.m. for our home stretch strategies session, because we are getting into finals time. And so students, I think, are feeling a lot of pressure, a lot of stress. What are some of the common mistakes that students make when they're preparing for finals?
That's a great question. The one that we see the most is what is called the illusion of knowing. So it's this concept that came up in cognitive psychology in the mid 80s. But the idea is that when we see something frequently, we feel really familiar with a concept. So think about things that you see all the time in a class, or you hear all the time, or you look at all the time in your notes. We assume that we know it. But there's a critical step between learning information, so processing the information, and actually studying that information that students are often skipping. So as a result, it becomes really challenging for students to answer applicable exam questions because we never fully understood the content and we didn't really understand that we didn't understand the content. So we'll discuss that crucial step on Thursday and also discuss ways to prevent the illusion of knowing or be able to identify whether or not we are being delusional to ourselves. Unknowing.
That's helpful. And that is a very common thing for all of us. I know that a lot of what you do in the Study Skills Academy is based in research.
That's right.
What does some of that research show about the relationship between stress and test performance, paper performance, and things like that? Because I know that a lot of people are feeling a lot of stress right now.
That's right. Yeah. The correlation is great. So the limbic system will always prioritize stress, acute stress. So think of like test anxiety or general overwhelm that hasn't been addressed. This is how we've survived and thrived through humanity. So the amygdala will route information based on emotional state. So essentially your brain, if you ever have been in an exam and you feel like your brain has been hijacked or you're blanking out on information that you thought you know well, that's typically stress happening. So there are steps that we can take to both prevent and manage stress, and especially when preparing for exams, because we want to prevent test anxiety. So we will also discuss further on Thursday.
Well, that's helpful. And that, again, is on Thursday at 6 p.m. We'll be sending out a Zoom link for students. And I think it's important for students to understand that this is not just a student issue. I, as dean, living in a stressful world right now between COVID and everything else, find it difficult sometimes to manage my time, to manage stress, to figure out the best ways to perform in various pressure situations. So I think it's helpful for all of us to learn about what the research says about how we can do that better. So again, Thursday, 6 p.m. Via Zoom, we're going to have our home stretch strategy session. Angela Zanardelli-Sickler from the Study Skills Academy will be joining us for that. And Angela, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Oh, thank you. It's my pleasure. I can't wait to meet everyone and have you walk away with some strategies to start using and make the final season a simplified one.
Thank you. As always, honor students, you can leave comments in the comments section We will see you soon.